Okay, volunteer to read our learning goals for us, please. Larry, take care of the first one, and then lead us in an echo read.
I can practice using nuance and prosody when reading a piece of literature.
Good.
I can practice using nuance and prosody when reading from a piece of literature.
Fantastic. Larry, good call in front of you. Learning goal 2.
Kyair.
I can deepen my understanding of words and word parts by dividing and conquering.
Excellent. Echo.
I can deepen my understanding of words and word parts by dividing and conquering.
Excellent. So for this focus on fluency, we've read this piece before. I'm going to go back and just read it one more time, okay? This is a piece of literature, and one of the things about this is it means that it is a fictional text. It's meant to entertain us. But you need to think to really understand it. A, what is happening? B, how do you know? And are there any words that stand out to you? Today we're going to do some fluency annotations, meaning we're going to mark up the text specifically to help us when do we need to emphasize a word, slow down, and show some urgency. So if I could, your eyes should be on either of the two screens, either the TV or the keyboard, and I appreciate Zayden orienting his body to look. A wave suddenly fell with a thundering roar, and the water came rushing down upon the boat. "Steady now," said the captain. The men were silent. They turned their eyes from the shore and waited. Then the next wave broke upon them. Rolling floods of white water caught the boat and whipped it around. Water came in from all sides. The little boat, dying under this weight of water, sank deeper into the sea. "Empty her out, cook! Empty her out!" said the captain. "All right, captain," said the cook. "Now, boys, the next one will finish us," said the oiler. "Remember to jump free of the boat." The third wave moved forward, huge, angry, merciless. It seemed to drink the tiny boat, and at the same time, threw the men into the sea. Briefly with your table. A, what did you notice about my reading, specifically prosody? And then B, what's happening? Let's take about 90 seconds.
The captain and the men were silent.
His voice would rise, and he wasn't really mad at so I think some people died because
for each character, he changed the voice so it sounded a different person. When it was like a dark moment,
Okay, wrap it up 15.
a moment that was going fast, he changed his pace to make it.
Quiet to silent 10. Ready to show and fly. And that's going to go ahead and be our time. So question 1, what did you notice about my fluency? And if you could point specifically to the text that gets us closer to our standard RF5, right? Remember, just because it's a 5th grade standard doesn't mean that like we're doing 5th grade work, but it's the only standard that talks about fluency. So what did you notice about my fluency? And or what is happening in the text? How do you know? Kyair, good morning.
Good morning. Something that I noticed about your fluency is like when you got to certain exclamation points, your voice will like change, and when you were reading without the exclamation point, like your voice was calm.
Loved it, right? Calm and noticing those exclamation points. Great. We're gonna go D'Angelo, Dream, Larry.
I read Jamera. I also like to add that, like, in the quotes and stuff, when you're reading the dialogue and stuff, you raise your voice, like, loudly, and then reading like what happening like basically lines without the quotes, you basically just raise your voice down.
Absolutely, right? So noticing those quotation marks, right? Say, D'Angelo, Dream, Larry, perfect.
I
And,
noticed
Dream.
that when it was different people talking, the tone changed for every person, and when it said empty or outcook, the voice went up.
Love that. Going back to the text, RL71, and noticing I changed my voice for those characters. Love it. Larry, was there anybody else who would like to go after Larry?
I noticed.
Sort of back to Tori. Yeah, go ahead, Larry. Sorry.
Oh, I noticed that like when you was reading, you had very bold, and when you got to like exclamation points, you read even more bolder.
Love it, right? Even more bolder. Love that. It's a good comparative. Let's go Tori, Javon.
Okay, so what I noticed has happened in the text is I think like the ship is sinking because it says remember to jump free of the boat, and I feel like the ship was sinking because like when would you ever like it looks like it sounds like they're in the middle of the ocean, and why would you jump out of a boat if you were in the middle of the ocean?
Love it. Great comprehension skills. Javon, that will move on.
I agree with Tori what she said, but I feel like what she should have said is when the boat is sinking, is dying under the weight of water, sink deeper into the sea. Because I say that because they say the little boat dying under the weight of water into the sea, which means it's basically sinking.
Absolutely. Great piece of text out. That's fantastic. Okay, so we've already kind of talked about this, but here's some more questions to just deepen our understanding of fluency, and then I'm going to come around with a piece of text. Why is it important to change your voice when you see dialogue? So if you're reading from a piece of especially literature, why is it important to change your voice when you see dialogue? D'Angelo kind of was talking about that with his table group. How do certain words change how you read the narration, the exposition? Basically everything not in quotation marks. Okay, narration or exposition is the stuff not in quotation marks. Now, why is it important to pay attention to words or word choice when reading fluently? Again, we're going to talk about these three questions at your table groups. Let's take 2 minutes, starting now. Have you go?
So I'll turn to number one. I say it's important to choose
Represent one person.
I feel like you will have to
It's important to change your voice when you see dialogue is because you gotta pay attention to like the quotation marks and stuff. You gotta understand like what they mean, what time of feeling they are, and once you understand them, you'll know when to like raise your voice up or down. Or basically
Change your voice, change your dialogue.
change your voice to be
So
like
I
heard.
just wrote it as how you wanted it to be. So you put exclamation point, you read like how you feel.
One more minute?
First of all, period, it would change because if you don't change your dialogue, it wouldn't really make sense with all the other characters and then all the other things that are going on. So you should change. And it also because you would want to improve, you also want to like improve your fluency. So you should change.
Thirty seconds. Okay. Why is it important to change your voice when you see dialogue? Having certain words change how you read narration, exposition, or 3, paying attention to words or word choice. Doesn't matter where you're going, Ezra.
I'm gonna answer number one, and I think it's important to change your voice when you see dialogue because you gotta like make it sound real because it's like in the text it's two people talking to each other, it's dialogue. So you gotta change your voice to make it sound real.
Absolutely, right? Make it sound real. Love that. Ezra, who's next?
So yeah.
I'm answering number one. It's important to change your voice when you see dialogue because you gotta, like Andrew said, you gotta make it look real. You also gotta make sure people like picture what's happening in their mind.
Love it, right? Because it's a piece of fiction, maybe we want to visualize. It's a great comprehension strategy. That was great, D'Angelo. Okay, let's go, Larry. And then let's try to go lady after this. I saw Paige and Tori stand up.
It's important to change your voice because like the author wrote it with exclamation points, so you would want to like meet his standards on how he wrote it.
Tori.
Okay, so I'm gonna answer number one, and I said it's important to change your voice when you see dialogue because like people may think that it's just the one person talking. Cause like if you still have the same voice over and over and over again, people may think that it's just like the one person talking, which means it would be a monologue, but it's actually dialogue.
Oh, there it is. Like that. Let's take one more drink.
I'm gonna answer number three, and it's important to pay attention to words because when you're reading and you like don't pay attention, you might get the word wrong or you might stutter. So you gotta pay attention, or to like get the real meaning of the word.
Angel, it's your hand up. I saw your hand up.
I was gonna answer number one. I said it's important to change your tone when you see dialogue because you don't want to read the story all boring and dry because your audience will get tired and will seem bored the way you're reading it because you have to have expression and then change it up because it's two different people, so you're speaking to two different characters.
Absolutely. Two different characters, different perspectives, and you want the people that are paying attention to listen. Love it. So take a look at this. It's not really that tricky, but there's a lot going on. And I chose colors that have to look with my eyesight, so here we go. This will be fun. So this is directly from the text. I just chose I think actually the very first line. It says, "A wave suddenly fell with a thundering roar, and the water came rushing down upon the boat." What I want you to do, because we're going to do this a couple times, this is what I would call like a teacher model. This is what your paper should look like. If you need to like highlight, I've got markers and colored pencils, but notice how like I pointed out some adverbs. Adverbs describe actions. So here's a very simple sentence. He walked fastly. What did he do? Okay, walked, which is the verb, it's the action. Yeah, he walked fastly. What did he do? Just what did he do? Walk. How did he walk? So adverbs describe and tell you how the verb is done. A wave suddenly fell. Well, what did the wave do? Fall. How did the wave fall? Suddenly. The adverb. So it's important when you're looking at sentences, and I think this was Dream's last answer, so I'm so happy she was the last one to go. She was talking about word choice. You do have to pay attention to words because it's going to help you with your fluency. What do the adverbs tell you? Are the adverbs worth emphasizing? I think I heard D'Angelo earlier talking about urgency in his table group, right? When you're reading, you read with urgency based on what's happening. Notice how I have a little like half circle, like a little scoop. That scoop lets me know I'm going to say that phrase, "and the water," in one breath. I'm not pausing to take a breath. So sometimes you really need to use these symbols. Up arrows, these are the words I'm going to emphasize. So in your table groups, you're going to take one very quick minute. What do you notice about my, Mr. K's annotations? How will that help my fluency? Off you go. What do you notice about my annotations? How will it help?
I noticed about what's it called?
So
Like,
is going to be
he got his annotation
suddenly tells you
as a
I
way
think the
to
tone
think
is
of
like
the way
very climactic or like something kind of scary you might see in a movie.
Okay, 30 seconds, 30
I
seconds.
say wave suddenly fell, and that water came rushing down on the boat. So I think the blue is the words in blue is just the text.
Okay, wrap it up in 5, 4, 5 times 3, ends up 2, share out 1. Okay, what did you notice about my annotations and how is this going? Wait. Alyssa, what did you notice about my fluency annotations? How will this help my fluency? We'll go Alyssa and then circle back here to Andrew.
I noticed that there was the up arrows, and I feel like that would help with your fluency because when you're reading it, you would have expression with certain words and stuff like that. In my table mate page, she was talking about how you have to show expression when you're reading, or else you'll be bored and tired.
Absolutely, I love that. Andrea, fluency annotations, what did you notice how this helped me? And then we're going to drink.
Something I noticed about your fluency notation is that like you color, what's the word called?
Color coded?
Yeah, color coded them like all like the words on the same colors, and that's how your fluency by like point out the obvious and like keeping it organized.
Absolutely, right? So noticing my verbs and adverbs, keeping it organized in my head. I'll dream.
I noticed when suddenly and raw and suddenly the arrows is going up, so I know like to raise my voice or like yeah, and then when
That's it. Okay, Harry.
Miss Cole, could you not use dark blue because it's really hard for me to see it?
Yeah, actually, it's also hard for me to see, but I'll note that next time. We're going to go back and read this. We'll do an echo after I just read this through. So Mr. K is going to read once, then we'll do an echo after. A wave suddenly, well, my bad. We're going to read just me. Just me. I'm the only diva on stage right now. And then we'll get all you. I see what I said. Thanks. A wave suddenly fell with a thundering roar, and the water came rushing down upon the boat. Echo. A wave suddenly fell with a thundering roar, and the water came rushing down upon the boat. So here's what we're going to do. You're going to use these sort of symbols, and the reason why, because there's some dialogue. I need you to figure out how you're going to do the voice, right? Because that sort of caricature, if you will, of the voice and the speaker, you need to figure out what you're going to do to change your voice, because it does say "steady now," said the captain, right? So you're going to need to do a voice for that. Where are you going to do a different voice? That's a symbol, and if you have a different symbol for voice, please do that. It also could literally just be the letter V. Your up arrow, where are you going to emphasize, and then where are you going to be scooping? I'm going to come around and pass these out, and I want you to try right now just to work with your table group. But right now, answer the questions at the bottom. Where and why would we change our voice? Where would we scoop one breath? Okay, so answer those questions before I pass out the excerpts, and then you're going to start annotating. Off you go.
I think we can change our voice to real conversation. So maybe one person has like kind of like
And then also, I would change my voice silently into a quiet whisper when the things dimension of silent because things so when
I was being with the gun and sometimes, like, he hit me because I wasn't paying attention. I turned around with the gun.
Okay, quiet silent for next steps in 5. Next steps in 4. Quieting now in 3, 2.
So they're the 8, right?
Sure is. Okay, wait on 1. Steady now, said the captain. The men were silent. They turned their eyes from the shore and waited. Then the next wave broke upon them. That was fluent. I didn't change my voice for the captain, however. Scooping wasn't the best, and there was 0 emphasis. Now what you should do is work with your table group. If your annotations are different, and some of us read a little more dramatically than others, that's fine. But work with your table group. Where would you put a V or the voice symbol to change your voice because of dialogue? Where would you put an up arrow to emphasize maybe an adverb or an action? And then are there words with that little half circle crescent, right, that you can scoop? You're like, oh, this is a great phrase. I want to say this all in one breath. I left out the slash, but please, that's also another annotation symbol. Where would you stop and slash? Commas and periods are great places for a slash. So I'm okay with a little quiet conversation. Jeremiah, take the volume up to about 20. I'm going to give you 2 minutes to annotate literally just what you see on the board on your paper. Don't go further, don't do anything else.
Okay.
That's okay, I'll fix it. But anyways, with your table groups, have at it. So it is. Thank you.
Mr. K. Mr. K. You got 20 minutes.
You guys need to just do it right, like,
I believe that
yes, you don't have to copy anything down, just work right where you see it on the half sheet. Andrew, you talking about the fluency annotation? Let me just start this out. A little bit above? Yeah, let's do a little bit more of the class thing. Huh? Let's do a quick demonstration here. Up arrow, like where do you want to emphasize a word?
Oh. You want to stop looking on paper?
So this is where I would go up. I would go up like around sitting down because it's dialogue there. Now all this go up around. They turn their eyes. That sounds like what's like more serious. That's how
Also like
in some places I do where it says they can't and from the store.
Remember, there's no real right or wrong. Okay, moving on to 30. Moving on to 20. 15. Jeremiah, volume to 11. I try to keep it on HDMI4 this time. Thanks. Okay, share out time. Where and why did we change our voice? I just answered the question about Isaiah. Where would I want to change my voice and why? Yeah, yes, I do agree with that. But what about just this one sentence right here, though? Larry?
I would raise my voice at they turn their eyes because that's an action.
Okay, yeah, so that phrase, they turn their eyes, right? So that is where we might want to change our voice. Perfect. Where else, Alyssa?
Steady now because that's dialogue.
Study now, dialogue, dream.
I'm gonna say that, but also broke upon them.
Broke upon them. Love it, love it. Anything else?
Mr. K.
Yes. Yeah, I'm just going to get the whole class a bunch out because I don't have my phone. Javon.
The men were silent.
Loved it. Does anybody have, like, hey, based on your annotations, does anybody feel comfortable reading this aloud for the class? See where we can get some good stuff here. Morgan.
Steady now, said the captain. The men were silent. They turned their eyes from the shore and waited. Then the next wave broke upon them.
Love it. It was great. I could definitely tell where you emphasize and pause, where your slashes might be. Scoops for one breath. That was perfect. Okay. So, Paige, then Jameer.
Steady now, said the captain. The men were silent. They turned their eyes from the shore and waited. Then the next wave broke upon them.
Perfect. Lovely. I can hear the emotion. Jameer.
Steady now, said the captain.
Good.
The men were silent. They turned their eyes from the shore and waited. Then the next wave broke upon them.
Loved it. D'Angelo? And then Jeremiah.
Steady now, said the captain. The men were silent. They turned their eyes from the shore and waited. Then the next wave broke upon them.
That's a character right there. That captain sounds grizzled. He's seen some stuff. Jeremiah, last one.
Steady now, said the captain. The men were silent. They turned their eyes from the shore and waited. Then the next wave broke upon them. Rolling flew.
Oh, that's it. Same to you.
Oh.
Okay, we're going to do an echo, so here we go. Ready? Study now.
Study now,
Say it happy.
said the captain.
The men. They turned their eyes. From the shore. Then Pretty simple stuff. Most of you have already kind of started this. Because it is an exit ticket, I don't want to hear you if at all possible. I need you to finish annotating the rest of this. Where would you change your voice because there's more dialogue? Where would you put that up arrow or underline for emphasis? Remember, the scoop means one breath. You're saying the whole thing before you take your next breath. And you can also do an underline if you want. People that really want to go above and beyond, where are your verbs? You're probably going to emphasize your verbs. Larry did a great job pointing out a phrase that was an action clause. Okay, so we're doing this silently and independently. We're going to do a brief brain break, get your vote now, and keep it moving. Because we're probably going to work right up until 11:10 today, what that ultimately means is any time after I ready this week, I'm just going to dedicate it to projects and not your pods. Okay? If you do finish early, feel free to flip the half sheet over. You can do a very easy reflection question. How do you think the fluency lesson went? How do you think your fluency is going? Those questions are on the back. So again, if you're finishing annotating early, please feel free to answer those 2 reflection questions on the back. How do you think today's lesson went? What was your level of participation? Were you engaged? Do you feel like you're learning and growing? 2, how is your fluency? Do you feel like it's gotten better? Is it better than where it was in 6th grade, even in September this year? Do you know how to focus on dialogue now? Will you change your voice? Some of this muscle memory. From where I stand, it's like about half the class is still annotating and half is flipped over, so I'm just saying maybe another minute or 2. Yep. How do you think today's lesson went? And then how was your fluency? It's okay if in the next minute you don't entirely finish or if you want to get to reflection questions, if you want to get to vocab. We're going to go one more minute, as long as I can see some annotations that we did not already do today. So starting with rolling floods on down, we have something in 1 minute. We've actually been working pretty hard with the brain break. That'll still be part of all of this solo. So the brain break, I'm going to create a story and do some actions for you all to do during the story. If I can get a really good narrator, I will pass off storytelling duties to somebody. We're going to go ahead and wrap up. If you would like a movement-based brain break, please stand behind and push to the chair. But if you would like a movement-based brain break, you can stand by and push to the chair. Otherwise, you are welcome to sit. Okay, you make sure that you are in a position to not hurt anybody. It's going to be very, very quick. The story is going to be a little nonsensical, but it is what it is. If I ask you to do an action, it's going to be from your seat, so if you have to run in place, you're just running in place, not actually running around the classroom. Got it? Okay. 701 decided to take a trip and we were in the deep, deep jungles of Costa Rica. Just then, a bat came down and we all had to duck. It's okay, we're all safe. But just then, a snake appeared, so we had to jump out of the way. Unfortunately, the black jaguar was behind us, so we had to run to get away from it. Oh no, a log! So we jumped. There's Miss Piggy, karate chop! Hi-ya! Run some more. Oh, I'm so tired, I could use a drink of water, so we stopped. We opened up your water bottle. A bear! Done. A snake! Jump! And so we ran. And we stopped. And then we ran some more. And then we sat down. Thanks. Okay, with your table groups, you've got 4 words to define, but you've also got some pictures. So, for example, if the word was aggression, which of those 4 pictures, 1, 2, 3, 4, going from left to right, is the word aggression? But how could you also use to, toward, or add to in your definition of the word aggress or aggression? Right? You'll get the hang of it. Basically, do your best without your computer and only the 2, 4, or 3 brains at your table group. Off you go. It's pretty self-explanatory. If you need help with directions, they're right there.
I think aggression is like
Just like the word and what picture goes with the one.
I think number 4 is aggression.
Yeah, you would say aggression goes with pick one.
We did application. I think our application is like great because it shows somebody like what goes on job interview.
Application over. Is this my? And I'll go to the last one.
I just saw the applications being the process, so I know it's not pushing. I know affection is not pushing. You don't know what I know count. It's not pushing.
Yeah, just like the young men at table group 5, write the word, tell me what pick it goes with, and just be brief. I'm not looking for like sentences or big essays. Just application goes with pick blank because that's it. Affection goes with picture blank because there are 4 images, and I just work from left to right. So the one with where it looks like they're fighting is pick 1. Bank is 2. Little clipboard is 3. 2 humans going to be 4. Again, the word. Do your best to define it, or at least explain why you think it goes with that picture. Bonus points if you can work in the word to, toward, or add to as part of your definition or explanation. We'll take a couple different volunteers on this.
I believe that the word affection matches with the picture number 4 because the humans are showing affection toward each other.
Love it. That's how you do it, right? She gave me the picture toward each other. Love it. That was masterful. Masterclass. Larry, Drain, Jamira. Those are all got it. So it can't be affection or picture toward. Larry.
Aggression goes with the fight because they're being aggressive toward each other, and I call it that to add to toward and to because they're being aggressive towards each other.
Absolutely. Another masterclass. Dream can't be aggression, can't be picture 1.
okay. Account goes with picture 2 because you can see money and it's like a bank.
Mm-hmm. And then what are we doing to our account, especially if we're putting money in it?
You adding money into it.
Masterclass, adding to the account. Last one, Jamira. It looks like you're doing the word application in picture 3.
Applications goes with picture 3 because like she's filling out it to get a job. And
Yep.
she's just adding to the paper.
Love it. Adding to the paper. Masterclass. Love it. Actually, this is going to be our end of lesson exit ticket. So you can either do the word apply or affection. You can work collaboratively with the group, meaning this. Hey, I still need the prayer model in my own notes, but we can work together on a definition that does not use the computer. So what is the definition of apply? Like you're going to apply some efforts in today's lesson. You're going to apply for a job. What's the definition? Are you either doing apply or affection? Characteristics, right? What part of speech is it? Is it a noun? Is it an action? What's the prefix? And then give me some examples and non-examples. Give us about 4 minutes for this. What's the prefix and what does it mean? And what part of speech is it? That's characteristics.
So the characteristics of affection are 18, I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah, put them there on once.
Okay, remember characteristics are, what was the prefix? Remember it assimilates. So even though the word is apply and affection, the prefix is not AP or AF. Remember it's a different prefix, it's already in your notes, and then that the D assimilates to the first consonant. So just please make sure in that characteristics box you are writing the correct prefix and its definition. And then if you know what part of speech it is. Words that end in TION are usually nouns. And then depending on how you use the word apply, it can be an action. Remember examples, what are examples of apply? Non-examples would be the opposite.
Oh. 18.
Alright, now characteristics.
Speech, define a prefix.
You're not supposed to be looking it up, little Craigie.
These are 11, 15. At least 5
Does anybody need more time?
No. We do some stuff on the
Okay,
project.
perfect.
If our group is finished, can we do some stuff on the project?
Okay, we're gonna have, it's gonna be, we're gonna have
About the racism, right? That's quite a